In this video, we're going to talk about how to find the x-intercept, y-intercept, and slope of a linear equation. So the graphic I'm sharing on the screen shows you all the possibilities here, because I can give you a linear equation as a graph, as a table, or as an equation. And I can ask you to find the x-intercept, y-intercept, and slope of that linear equation. So I'm going to go through each of the boxes in this table here to make sure we know what we're doing. So let's start with the top left one here. If you're asked to find the x-intercept of a graph, so the x-intercept of a graph is literally just right there. It's where it hits the x-axis. So the x-intercept of this graph is 2. Moving across that table, it says, how do you find the y-intercept of a graph? Well, the y-intercept is where it hits the y-axis. And then how do you find the slope? Well, if you have a graph, you pick 2 points on the line and you do rise over run. So you do rise over run, rise over run. That's how you find slope of a graph. So now the next row says, how do you find the x-intercept, y-intercept, and slope of a table? So let's say I give you a table that looks like this. And let's do -6, -4, 2, 0, 2, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I give you a table and I want you to find the x-intercept, all you have to do is look for the x value when y is 0. So this one right here is the x-intercept. Because if y is 0, then it's not going up or down. It's going to be on the x-axis, right? If I want the y-intercept, I have to look for the y value when x is 0. So this one right here is the y-intercept. And then to find the slope, I need to pick 2 points from this table and find the change in y over the change in x. So I'm going to use the 2 points I have circled. The change in y is up 3. And the change in x is up 6, so my slope is 3 over 6, or 1/2. So now we're going to do the last row, which says how to find the x-intercept, y-intercept, and slope of an equation. So if I have an equation like this, y equals 2x plus 3. If I want to know the x-intercept, I just set y equal to 0. And solve the equation for x. So if I want to know the x-intercept, I set y equal to 0 and then just solve. And you get 2x equals -3 and then divide by 2 and get x equals -3/2. This is the x-intercept. Whoops. This graphic's in the way, huh? Let me shrink it for us. And then if I want to know the y-intercept of this, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to change x to be 0. So y equals 2 times 0 plus 3. Y equals 0 plus 3. Y equals 3. The y-intercept is 3. And then if I want to know the slope, there's 2 things I can do. I can make sure that the equation's in y equals mx plus b format, which this one is. And if that's the case, I just identify the slope by looking at this number, the coefficient in front of the x. So my slope is 2. And if it's not in slope-intercept form, well, then you just need to find 2 solutions to these equations. So what you would do is just, write the equation and pick 2 x's and plug them in to get y. So I'm going to plug in x is 1. So I know that 1, 5 is a solution to this. And then I'm going to do it again for a second point. And I'm going to do 2. So y equals 2 times 2 plus 3. Y equals 4 plus 3. Y equals 7. So I know that 2, 7 is a solution. And then I would just use these 2 points to find the slope. My change in y over change in x. Change in y is 2. Change in x is 1. My slope is 2 over 1. Now, the only way that this one might be a little more challenging is if your equation is in a different format. So for instance, your equation might be in this format. It might look like this: y plus 5 equals negative x plus 2. Or it might look like this: 2x plus y equals 8. So these are two different formats to write the equation of a line. You still follow all the things we just talked about. It's just going to take a little more work. For the x-intercept, we're going to make y equal to 0. And then solve this for x. We get 5 equals negative x plus 2. So x would be 3. So that's the x-intercept. I'm not going to do all 3 for this equation. I'll just do one of each here. Let's find the y-intercept for this one. To find the y-intercept, we make x be 0. Get 0 plus y equals 8. Minus 0, minus 0, y equals 8. The y-intercept is 8. And then let's just do one more equation like that. 4x minus y equals 12. If I want to find the slope of this line, I can plug in two x's, find their corresponding y's, and then I'll have 2 points to calculate slope. Or I can get this in y equals format, and that's what I want to show you. So for this one, I would just do minus 4x to both sides. And I would get negative y equals negative 4x plus 12. And then I divide everything by negative 1 to get the y alone. And I get y equals 4x minus 12. My slope is 4. So that is how you find the x-intercept, y-intercept and slope of a graph, of a table, and of an equation.